I want to get you out the door with every result from every league in under 15 minutes, so that you're more informed about what's going on in the world of sports.
Hey TJ, what's going on? I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler Sports and this is the Sport Report.
And I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports. Welcome to a special edition of this all crazy sports newscast.
Broadcasting from somewhere in the United States.
Hit it, Blaze.
This is the Sport Report.
Thursday, May 23rd. 2019.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler with Sports and this is the Sport Report. It's time to get you caught up on what's happening in the world of sports. This is Top of the Order.
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
This is Top of the Order.
Folks, we've hit that point. There's only Major League Baseball on a given night. And during the summer, we're going to run into this. It's not really an issue, as we've said in the past, but it does mean we have fewer sports to cover. Well, we would tap into the 15 games of Major League Baseball as one of our top stories, but something else took precedence. Juwan Howard, one of the members of the Fab Five at Michigan in the early 1990s, has been hired as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines men's basketball team. Why is that significant? Well, the Fab Five back in the day were some of the best freshmen and some of the best college basketball players in the country. Now, they had their timeout fiasco in the 93 title game, or maybe they had a few on-court antics that were not appreciated by a lot of the fans or even administrators in Michigan. And then there was the 30 for 30 that explored the detailed relationship between the Fab Five and Michigan and how the Fab Five were paid to go to Michigan. Probably explains why the banners were taken down inside Michigan basketball's arena. Regardless, there are some shoes to fill, and as Scott Van Pelt pointed out last night on SportsCenter, the next head coach is going to have some shoes to fill. Michigan are the third team, Villanova and North Carolina being the other two, to reach multiple national title games in the last 7 seasons. Can you guess which years that they made the title game in the last 7 years? We'll have that trivia answer tomorrow. Hit us up on Twitter at SportReportCWS or on our website, SportReportCWS.com. Leave a comment on the post or just tag us in a tweet with your answers. Now back to the news. Juwan Howard is the next head coach. Scott Van Pelt pointed out that there will be some big shoes to fill. Now, Michigan's top 3 scorers are leaving for the NBA draft after their freshman or sophomore season from last year, meaning the well is kind of dry. There's no McDonald's All-Americans going to the school, and Beeline never really got them. They all went to Duke or Kentucky. But even as Van Pelt pointed out, Duke and Kentucky aren't one of the 3 teams that made multiple national title games in the last 7 years. Talent is one thing, how you use that talent is another thing. Penny Hardaway has a chance to do just that while at Memphis this season. Former Memphis alum, now the head coach of the Memphis Tigers. He has a chance to show that talent isn't everything, and not to just use it as a stat or something that the media can use to get fans to the games or watch TV, like 2019 Duke or multiple Kentucky teams under head coach John Calipari. It just depends on who you have on the roster. Next season probably won't be Michigan's year. 2-3 years down the road, it might be. This hire also might help the relationship between the Fab Five and Michigan, considering the relationship isn't the best. But as Jalen Rose pointed out on Get Up a few mornings ago, it's very possible that there is no more hatchet. The hatchet is buried with the hiring of Juwan Howard. It might be. There's still some hostility between the group and Michigan, but for now it's gone. And now Juwan Howard has another job at hand, and that is getting Michigan basketball back to where John Beeline had them before he left. That was a very long top story, but something that needed to be said. Now to Major League Baseball.
Derek Jeter with one of the most unbelievable plays you will ever see by a shortstop. Ortiz into deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
Someday the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the World Series.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Holy cow!
Now from Major League Baseball.
There were 16 games on the Major League Baseball slate, with Kansas City and St. Louis playing a doubleheader after the rain out 2 nights ago. Now moving on to the other 15 games. Chicago Cubs 8, Philadelphia Phillies 4. Javi Baez has his 12th home run of the season. Tyler Chatwood's 3-0 with a 2.86 ERA. And the Cubbies just continue to roll right along. They're 11 games above 500 after starting the season 1-6. That's pretty incredible for this team. They now lead the NL Central Division by 2 games over Milwaukee. Oakland Athletics Athletics 7, Cleveland Indians 2, Milwaukee Brewers 11, Cincinnati Reds 9. It was going to be a battle between Zach Davies and Luis Castillo. Davies for the Brewers, Castillo for the Reds, who have Major League Baseball's second best and fourth best ERAs in the league respectively, but both were out by the end of the third inning. High-scoring game, Milwaukee wins by 2. In the first game of the doubleheader, the Kansas City Royals defeated the St. Louis Cardinals 8-2. In the second game, it was a flip of the script. St. Louis Cardinals 10, Kansas City Royals 3, Texas Rangers 2, Seattle Mariners 1. Let's just take a moment to reflect on the Seattle Mariners, who began the season 13-2. They are now 23-29 and just got swept by the now 24-23 Texas Rangers. San Diego Padres 5, Arizona Diamondbacks 2, New York Yankees 7, Baltimore Orioles 5. CC Sabathia is 3-1 on the season for the Yankees, and here's a stat. It's only May, but Gary Sanchez and Gleyber Torres each have 9+ home runs against the Baltimore Orioles. According to Elias Sports Bureau via ESPN Stats and Info, the last time teammates each hit 9 home runs in a season against the same opponent was in 2001. Barry Bonds and Rich Arrielia against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks won the World Series that year in a thrilling Game 7, but the Orioles are probably not going to win the World Series this year. But hey, we figured we'd throw it in. Tampa Bay Rays 8, LA Dodgers 1. The reason the Dodgers didn't get rained out is because they were in a dome in Tampa. Miami Marlins 6, Detroit Tigers 3. Tigers are 10 games under 500 on another losing streak. It's just not good. They'll figure it out, we hope. They are 3 games better than their opponent, the Marlins. New York Mets 6, Washington Nationals 1. Rajai Davis was called up from AAA Syracuse earlier yesterday. Took a 2-hour Uber ride to Citi Field in Flushing, New York. Came in the third inning. Came in to bat later in the game. First at bat for the Mets. Boom. Home run. Huh, you say? Yeah, home run. Bottom of the 8th inning. 2 outs. Sean Doolittle was the pitcher, but Barrenclaw is the one who's going to be credited with the loss as the Mets score 6 runs with 2 outs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. They win the game 6-1 over the Nationals. Scherzer and DeGrom pitched great outings. They both combined for 17 strikeouts in the game, but it was the Mets offense who came alive and won the game. Atlanta Braves 9, San Francisco Giants 2, Colorado Rockies 9, Pittsburgh Pirates 3. John Gray is 4-4 on the season for the Rockies, who are now only 3 games under 500. Boston Red Sox 6, Toronto Blue Jays 5 in 13 innings. The Red Sox had a 4-2 lead at one point, and the bullpen just fell apart. Now, Mookie Betts hit a home run in the 12th inning, and then Toronto tied it in the bottom half of the 12th. Vladimir Guerrero had a home run earlier in the game, his first home run in Toronto. This is a stat for you. For the first time since 1952, the Red Sox hit 2 extra inning homers. Tom Wright and Dom DiMaggio did it in the 11th and 12th innings in 1952 for the Red Sox. Red Sox win this game, they won that game. Michael Chavis hits a game-winning home run. The Ice Horse, as Jared Carabas says, hits a game-winning home run in the top of the 13th inning, sending Red Sox fans home happy from the Rogers Center across the 49th parallel. Lastly, Chicago White Sox 9, Houston Astros 4. This had chaos written all over it. Let's start with the simplicities here. The first triple play of the Major League Baseball season happened, mark it, May 22nd, 2019. Man, it took a month and a half. It took almost 2 months, actually, for first triple play to be turned in Major League Baseball this season. It was the White Sox who did it. They also hit a grand slam. The last team to do that, hit a grand slam and have a triple play in the same game. The Detroit Tigers did it against the Blue Jays on September 8th, 2017, per the Elias Sports Bureau and ESPN Stats and Info. It's the first time that's ever happened in Chicago White Sox history. There will be 10 games on the slate later today, but there is also 1 game in the NBA that will be on later today as well. The Milwaukee Bucks are home to the Toronto Raptors, where hopefully Drake will not show up, start rubbing the shoulders of the Toronto Raptors head coach, and somehow not get tackled by security for going on to the court during a game. I just don't understand how he didn't get arrested or, escorted out of the building. For those of you who are thinking Drake is a curse, well, he's not really that much of a curse. The Raptors and Bucks are tied at 2 games apiece, and they play tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Game 6 will be in Toronto on Saturday, May 25th, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT. But for now, Game 5. We'll see how Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard play for the Raptors and everybody else, including Giannis and Middleton and Bledsoe, play for the Bucks. This could be very interesting to see what happens. There is no hockey until Monday, May 27th for the Stanley Cup. I'm being told through the earpiece that we may have found Sport Report NHL correspondent Jack Esper, who was last seen in Winnipeg. I'm also being told that is not confirmed, and I probably shouldn't say that. Oh well, I promised our listeners we'd find him. Well, we're gonna find him. That's the Sport Report for Thursday, May 23rd, 2019.
For now, I'm Chandler.
Thanks for tuning into the Sport Report today. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest in sports. Do you want to contact Chandler Sports or members of the Sport Report team? Visit sportreportcws.com. This podcast is copyrighted by the Sport Report for viewers to understand sports from a news reporting basis. Any other use of this podcast, Sport Report logos, or anything associated with this podcast without the express written consent of Chandler Sports is strictly prohibited.